What's up guys, Manny from Motomillion, and this is our broken M1000RR engine. Well, ever since our M1000RR had an engine failure, and the months after that we made that video that you guys are still commenting till today, we haven't really updated you guys with what happened. And just as we expected, we didn't make the video with an expectation of getting anything or receiving anything. We just wanted to show you guys the truth behind what happened. And that's the video. I still read the comments. Some make me laugh, some make me cry. And let's leave the video there. But so this is the update. Obviously nothing happened. As you guys know, the bike is sold. This is the broken engine that we haven't really shown. We had it here. And I thought maybe, number one, we could show it to some of you guys who care to see, because I know that there's a lot of comments that are coming from a point, how could I say this nicely? Uneducation about how the engines work and what happened, and also missing the facts, because some of you guys probably didn't watch the video and you commented, which is totally fine. Thank you for commenting. But I want to show you guys because there's been some phone calls that we've received that some of you guys are interested in. I think there was a couple engineers that wanted to see those bearings, and I think it should be all in here. But the main purpose of this video is to do something useful with this useless engine that we have. And we're gonna try to start the process of making a very expensive coffee table. I don't know why, maybe things happen for a reason. We never got a coffee table for our media office here at Motomillion, and this is a great chance to turn something negative into something positive. And so let's do a little unboxing. I haven't seen the engine ever since it was at sales in Ohio. It was still in the bike. And I don't even know what to expect, to be honest. Is this an engine? I don't even know. Let's take a look. Oh, it is an engine. Right here. Such a shame, because the engine's so clean, because the engine was brand new. Okay, this is gonna be a challenge, I think, for us to figure out how to pick this engine up. And let me show you. So I have this engine stand from Alpha Racing that is usually meant for if you have spare engines in your race trailer or in your shop, you bolt it up. It's meant to bolt right up with the engine, and then it obviously sits on the floor or wherever you keep your engine. And we're going to try to bolt it up here and see how we could come up with something that we could put some glass over it or anything that would hold and make it a table. But here is what we're using. We're cheating. I don't want to make legs and have it sit down because nothing looks good. So we decided to order one of these things and have it here. But now I gotta figure out how to get this heavy engine out of here onto maybe our stand over here and on top of this so that we could bolt it onto this. Cool. Wow. We're here, guys. Thanks, Zach, for leaving everything loose, because that made it a lot easier. And I think the suspected bearing is under here. Let's see if I can get that out. Okay, guys, if you have any small children, put them away, because this is where the horror story begins. Let me first show you cylinder number 3, which is right here. And this is what the crank looks like, nice and clean. And if the engine doesn't get oil for some reason in here, or something happens with this bearing, it's going to look very ugly. So now that we've seen the good side, now let me try to show you guys the bad and ugly side. Let me put this back real quick. now this is the bad side. There's no bearings inside, guys, because the bearings were sent for analysis. I'm just going to show you the crank and what it looks like. So number one, this is what our cap looks like, and then this is what our crank looks like. As I said, it looks pretty ugly. I can't really turn the engine over right now, but I mean, you get to see what you get to see and what there is to see, you know. It's such an unfortunate thing, but, and it's not the first engine that this has happened to. Now that I took the whole thing apart and showed you guys what happened, if any of you are an expert, if you're an engine builder, if you are working around engines, and if you're a mechanical engineer, I'd love to see what you want to tell us about this. I know you probably have to see the bearings, but as I mentioned, the bearings are gone off for analysis so that we could get a better idea of what happened. But so this is what it is. I want to put this thing back together so that we could make our table, the $15,000 table, because that's what this engine costs, and that's what it costs us to just buy the engine, plus all the labor and everything that was involved for that engine to be installed onto our M1000RR. So let's do some YouTube magic. Let's put this back together, and then I'll put it back on that Alpha Racing stand, and then we'll talk about how we're going to turn this thing into a table. And don't be that guy that comments nice torque specs, bro, because again, this engine is no good. We're making a coffee table. It's irrelevant to how we put this back together. We're just going to tighten all the bolts so that it comes back together as an engine, and then we'll put it back on our stand. Well, before I put the cover back on, some of you may be interested in seeing the inner workings of an engine. So your oil pump works with a gear and it's driven by a chain. So it's right here if you come take a look. And also this thing gets tension when the engine is running. And this usually your clutch is right here, and this is behind the clutch. And if you take a look, the oil pump was down there when we had the engine open. So you got a good look at it. We had to remove it. It's right here. But I thought some people might want to see it. Not everybody's sending an engine apart. I used to take apart and put engines back together way long ago. But this was kind of fun, kind of sad. But let me continue with putting these parts back on. And I don't know why, but I kind of want to put like titanium bolts and dress this engine up. But on the other hand, I feel like we've spent enough money on this engine, so we'll see. Maybe we'll do it. I don't know what you guys think. As a table, it looked really nice dressed up as well. But for now, let me just try to put it all back together, and then we'll see if this engine will run. I'm kidding. It's not going to run. Okay, so the engine's put back together. Let me answer a question that might come up. You guys might turn around and say, or some of you guys might turn around and say, why didn't you fix the engine? So here's the thing. None of the other cylinders are scored. 1, 3, 4 are fine. Cylinder 2 is the one that was the problem. When I talk to the experts, and when I mean experts, it's people who build engines for a living, race engines, mechanical engineers, and other people who are experts in the field of engines, and they know what they're talking about. And they said the cause could be a few things, right? It could be faulty bearing. It could be bad tolerances of the bearing when it was put in. And other than that, they said that it probably could be also oiling issues, so that the second cylinder didn't get enough oil. It doesn't really look like that thing is heat scored, so I think they kind of ruled that out. Because we don't know exactly what happened, imagine we put this back together and there is actually an oiling issue with the second cylinder, it's going to end up doing it again. And don't forget, when these things are cast and made, there's oil galleys that feed oil into your cylinders, well, into the crank and the bearing area, right? Not inside the cylinder, so you know what I mean. But so if that's the issue that we don't know, we just didn't want to take the risk. And also, I really knew that that bike was going to be sold at the end, so we wanted to make sure that we put a brand new engine, because the bike still has warranty with the new engine, so that the new owner can enjoy it. And I think that's the answer of why we didn't fix this and why we're building a $15,000 coffee table. So speaking of the coffee table, how are we going to do it? It's not going to happen in this video, but we are going to do it. And I'm thinking we're going to make some supports from this side so that it has two legs that come up. And then something from this side too, because we have two other areas right here that we could bring something up level. I was really wanting to do pistons. I'm going to see if there is a clever way that I could put a piston here, and two pistons here. Obviously the rod would be coming from here up and the piston would be upside down, and that's what would hold the glass tabletop on it. I'm going to work on it, and as soon as I have that ready, you guys can be sure that I'm going to show it on this video. And I hope you guys enjoyed it, because we were getting some questions about what happened. I got a couple phone calls that some of you who are watching, in terms of people in the industry, were wondering where this went. As soon as I hear back from the analysis of the bearings, if it's anything conclusive, I'll be sure to update all of you guys. But here it is. This is going to be our $15,000 table. This is the beginning of the journey. I think this is really cool. Obviously, if you're a race team and you have engines lying around, this is a perfect way to put them aside and carry them away. And in this case, I could literally pick this up and run with it, and we could say we have a running engine. But all jokes aside, it's going to work great for having a stable base for a table. But if you like the video, please give it a thumbs up. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down below. Until next time, guys, have a good one.